financially from that. But founder? Since when? Anyways, now let's turn our attention to other allies. President Donald Trump. Of course, we have to arrive here because Charlie really loved Donald J. Trump. Okay? He loved him. It is unreal going through my messages to really consider how much he dedicated his entire life to him. And I mean, sleepless nights wanting to ensure that he got elected, reelected, midterm elections, hitting the ground, wearing a MAGA hat. We were everywhere. I was on fire for Trump too. I really believed in Trump. I really believed that if people could wake up to how quickly the media turned on him, that it could be, you know, this conduit to Black Americans understanding that we're being manipulated. Because my focus was all about Black America, right? And what I can say is that from the very moment that we learned the news that Charlie Kirk had passed, I knew spiritually that we were never going to get the full story from officials, right? Not from officials. I can't explain it. I felt that way. And then when Trump rushed to tweet out that, or social Truth Social out that photo, that AI photo of him and Charlie with the Star of David in the background, I just knew. I knew the investigation into who murdered Charlie Kirk was officially over, right? The officials wanted nothing to do with it because there was nobody more psychotically insistent that people stop asking questions about Charlie's death immediately. I mean, early hours, right? More than the people that are dedicated to the Israel lobby, right? These individuals, if you go back, people that are pro-Israel for whatever reason, were like, do not look any further into this death. In fact, I'll challenge you, do me a favor. Find me just one real life pro-Israel individual who is expressing that they don't believe that Charlie Kirk was killed by Tyler Robinson. The evidence is overwhelming that Tyler Robinson didn't act alone, that Tyler Robinson didn't fire the shot, that Tyler Robinson didn't use a 30-06. Find me just one person with a platform who's pro-Israel and says, I want this investigation into his death to continue. It's a bit weird, right? It's a bit weird. Dogs, very silent right now. Very, very silent. And there's like a stake on the ground. They're not moving. It's very weird. They do, all of them, however, I will say, want him to be honored, right? Mostly by your money. They want you to give to Turning Point USA. That's the best way, by the way, that you can honor him. Open up your pocketbooks. They don't have enough money there, right? Clearing like $100 million a year. They don't have enough. Open up your pockets, keep his show going, and don't ask questions is obviously the clearest way that we can honor Charlie Kirk. They want him lionized, and they did try to lionize him immediately as the most Judeo-Christian goy ever, right? He was basically, why not just put him in a yarmulke in some of these AI photos? That would make more sense. The direction, I mean, so instant. It's like just like trying to establish the legacy, right? And keeping with that, we want this to be honorific, not actually trying to solve what happened here. For Charlie's birthday, President Trump signed into law or established rather a holiday. And he decided that October 14th, which is Charlie Kirk's birthday, would be a national day of remembrance for Charlie Kirk. Okay? And I'm going to tell you how I feel about that. Truly Zionists that infiltrated my book club, you did not need to pay the $9.99 to find out how I feel about this. I don't know why people think I'm hiding how I feel. It's very weird. Like, when did people go, oh, we have to try to listen in to hear what she really thinks? I'll tell you what I really think. I think it's crap. Okay? What I said in my book club holds. It's never good when the feds are lining up to give you a holiday. Not good. You know, Martin Luther King vibes. Martin Luther King Jr. I think maybe the feds definitely killed Martin Luther King Jr. But in school, we get to learn about him. He's got this whole holiday. Oh, he was such a great, I loved that I have a dream speech. Oh, the feds. Oh man, you're good. You were so great. It's unfortunate that we had to murder you. I don't like it. Because the best way to honor Charlie Kirk is very obvious. Figure out who killed him first. Let's celebrate the holiday later. I want to figure out who killed him first. And so I'm struck by this. I'm struck by Trump and the lack of demand, the lack of pushing on the narrative. Trump has really represented himself, at least as me, someone who voted for him twice. He represented himself as an individual who didn't trust the federal establishment. This feels like an easy layup here. You're a friend. He viewed you in many ways like a father figure, right? Hey, feds, what's going on here? And I said, maybe he did, because I was in this aggrieved stage and I really didn't poke my head up until weeks later when I could stop crying about it every second. And I said, maybe I missed it. Maybe Trump did actually say this is crap. Maybe he did call for an investigation. And we did a search on Truth Social to see how many times President Trump tweeted or Truth Socialed calling for further investigation into Charlie Kirk's murder. And there was only one tweet that we could find to that effect. And this tweet is not what I would describe as him calling for an investigation into Charlie Kirk's murder, actually. Here it is. This is the only one we could find. Why was the wonderful turning point under investigation by deranged Jack Smith and the corrupt and incompetent Biden administration? They tried to force Charlie and many other people and movements out of business. They weaponized the Justice Department against sleepy Joe Biden's political opponents, including me. They allowed the daughter of a judge of one of the corrupt trials against me to become the biggest fundraiser for Biden and Kamala, making millions of dollars for herself and her family. But with her father, the judge, not only refusing to recuse himself, but putting a gag order on me, not allowing any talk about their family corruption and unprecedented conflict of interest. Well, that's not going to age well, the gag order thing, is it? Every leading legal analyst and pundit said this trial was wrong and should not have been allowed to go forward. But it did because of a corrupt judge who will hopefully pay a very big price for his illegal action someday. Okay. Scale of 1 to 10, how much is that do you feel about Charlie Kirk? I don't know. I don't know what to think of that. I don't know what to make of that. Like I said, it's pretty obvious. They want us to just look at everything and go, case closed. Don't you see? We're all united. We're standing up here. We're giving him a holiday. We're signing that. And we've got all these photographers here, Turning Point's chief fundraiser lady here, and she's crying. So obviously she loved Charlie. Kash Patel was there. Of all the people, unbelievable to me. They're here. Kash Patel's here, so you can see we're all united. You can totally trust the FBI science now. We're ruling out corruption. That's why we don't know what Jeffrey Epstein files are talking about. Because look, all we had to do was win against Democrats and corruption would be over. Are we still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? I'm sorry. You know, I've realized something actually and truly. They made, in retrospect, the absolute best decision not inviting me to speak at Charlie's memorial. Like, kudos to whoever made that call, because I would have just been on my best Kanye. I would have jumped on stage and just grabbed the mic from Susie Wiles or someone and said, are you kidding me? What is going on here? What is happening? Even Trump's speech, remember when he just kind of worked in the story about Charlie interviewing a fourth grader and he was referring to Breland Holland? And I'm saying Holland, by the way, because that was his name when Charlie interviewed him, because Trump wasn't there, nothing to do with Trump. When Charlie went on that fourth grader's podcast, his name was Breland Holland, and I was next to him. It was me and Charlie. What a weird story for Trump to just obscurely pluck out of thin air to say on stage at his memorial. He wasn't there. He had nothing to do with him. The kid had some connections and, of course, was really sweet and adorable and in fourth grade and super polite and energetic and was like, I'd love to interview you. I can't remember who the guy was who was his dad. I got him the interview with us. And all of a sudden, Trump's just saying this story on stage at Charlie's memorial as if he was there. And he wasn't. So what's going on? Regarding Kash Patel showing his face there, I legitimately do not know how these people do it, okay? I would literally die from shame. I would pass away right immediately from shame before I would show up to that event if I was Kash Patel. Like, did they breed it out? Is this a new breed of human that I don't know about? where you feel nothing. There's just nothing. It's like the Josh Hammer thing. They don't feel any sense of shame at all. And they can just go, 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 go and pretend that you're honoring. I don't understand it. I truly don't understand it because I have to be a different species from whatever that is. I would melt. I'd rather melt into the floor than show my face, knowing how badly I was dropping the ball. The whole world knows dropping the ball. How do you show up to work, Kash Patel? And the answer is he shows up to work and he demands that everybody stop looking into it because he's got it under control. He's got a very small team of people at the FBI that are allowed to touch anything pertaining to the Charlie Kirk case because, this is transparency. Finally, the adults are in charge and it's going to be the most transparent administration ever, except on the Jeffrey Epstein stuff or the Charlie Kirk stuff, who was a friend of the administration. We got to be a little bit opaque on. Real headline, New York Times yesterday, pertaining to how upset Kash Patel was when he received an inquiry from Joe Kent, Tulsi Gabbard's office. They lead the National Counterterrorism Center. Joe Kent does. And him inquiring about details into this apparently alarmed Kash Patel. Because Kash Patel was alarmed. He called a meeting, in fact, right? He wanted to investigate the assassination pertaining to Joe Kent. They were like, hey, maybe people overseas were involved in his murder. Maybe they were thinking, BB's saying too much. Can we just look at these files? Because it's our job, overseas terrorism. And Kash Patel was so alarmed by this, so alarmed that they would look into these files, that he held a meeting, apparently. Oh, what are you? This is not appropriate. It's not appropriate for you to be looking into this, okay? We don't want you knowing whether or not there was a foreign power or another entity that was involved in this. And this is the reason that Kash Patel decided to have a meeting with Susie Wiles and Joe Kent and Tulsi Gabbard and Trump officials. I think it said J.D. Vance was in this meeting as well, and nothing was accomplished. Because why wouldn't you, if you're the most transparent administration ever, share, get the help? Hey, we're supposed to be partners in this. Don't we all want to find out who killed Charlie Kirk? And the answer is no. We don't all want to find out who killed Charlie Kirk. I think that's apparent, right? It's pretty obvious that we do not all want to find out who murdered Charlie Kirk because they're not acting right. Nobody is acting right now. And it's stunning. We are making so many discoveries in this case. And I have to tell you guys, we're getting close. We're getting low. Very close, I think, to what actually happened on that day. And I'm getting the suspicion that there were some foreign entities involved. So Joe Kent, Tulsi Gabbard, if you guys by any chance see this episode, keep going, right? We're just going very slowly here. Set the bait. We're going to see who lies about what. And when we get back from this break, I'm going to tell you another stunning turning point lie that came out. And you're going to start feeling some type of way about the people who are all apparently mourning him. And the best way to mourn, of course, is to lie. We'll be right back after a quick break. All right, you guys, I've been talking a lot about Riverbend Ranch because I absolutely love their steaks. Their Black Angus beef is famous for its great flavor. But Riverbend Ranch has taken Black Angus beef to a whole new level. Over the last 35 years, Riverbend Ranch has been creating an elite Angus herd by using ultrasound technology to select genetically superior cattle with a focus on flavor and tenderness. Each year, Riverbend Ranch provides about 850 elite Black Angus bulls containing these special genetics to over 260 Western U.S. ranches. Those partnership ranches receive a substantial premium from Riverbend Ranch for raising those calves without the use of growth hormones and without antibiotics. And every fall, the calves containing these elite genetics return to Riverbend Ranch to spend the following summer in lush mountain pastures. So when you purchase from Riverbend Ranch, you are not only supporting the 64 cowboys and their families who work on the ranch, but you are also supporting over 260 other U.S. ranches and the hundreds of American families who work on those ranches. So it's born here in the USA, raised in the USA, and processed right here in the USA. Their meat is aged to perfection for 21 days, and it's shipped directly from their ranch to your home. This is not your average Black Angus beef. This is more flavorful and more tender than even the best Angus beef that I've ever had. Right now, if you head over to riverbendranch.com and use promo code Candace, you'll get $20 off your first order. Trust me, you are going to be very impressed. So visit riverbendranch.com and use promo code Candace. Also want to remind you guys about American financing because the cost of everything is still out of control. There are so many people that are relying on credit cards to cover the essentials. If that debt is piling up for you, you should know first and foremost that you're not alone. Americans collectively owe over $1 trillion in credit card debt. You might have considered reaching out to my friends in American Financing in the past, but maybe you hesitated because you didn't want to give up your low mortgage rate that you're currently enjoying. Well, there's good news because they've now created the Smart Equity Loan, which is a solution that's designed to help you take control of your finances without touching your current mortgage. And unlike a HELOC, which can have varied interest rates, the Smart Equity Loan offers a fixed rate. That means one predictable monthly payment, giving you peace of mind. This loan allows you to leverage the equity in your home to pay off high interest debt, free up your cash flow, and keep your existing low mortgage rate intact. It only takes 10 minutes to get started. There's no upfront or hidden fees, so call American Financing today and start saving. The number is 800-795-1210. Again, that's 800-795-1210. Or visit americanfinancing.net/Owens. americanfinancing.net/Owens. And I've been telling you guys about this new Comet AI browser because how much time do we all spend on the web? How much time do we spend clicking around, searching, scrolling, typing, so many tabs? It is definitely a lot. Or there's this new AI web browser from Perplexity, which is called Comet, that is completely changing the way that we are able to interact with our browsers. Using Comet feels like having a personal assistant that's living inside of your computer, and it can do tons of things for you across the internet. Literally do things, not just give you answers, but they can click for you, type for you, search, scroll. Let's say your friend just had a baby. It can search for the best mom and the best baby gifts for you and then place that order. It saves you time, and you get to just show up for people. Comet can shop for you. It can make reservations, book travel, summarize articles or videos, send emails, schedule meetings, and a lot more to make your life easier. So go and take back your time online. Download Perplexity's new web browser, Comet, and let it work for you, not the other way around. Check it out at pplx.ai/Candace. Again, that's pplx.ai/Candace. All right, so Mikey McCoy is missing from the Charlie Kirk Show. He seemed very happy to jump in that seat thereafter. I think we were all expecting after this video went viral that we would hear from him regarding his actions there as soon as Charlie got shot. We were told by Andrew Colvett, who is now missing from today's episode of the Charlie Kirk Show, that it was because Charlie was very explicit. Charlie said, if I ever get shot at an event, the left side of my neck, the first thing I want you to do is not help me, okay? And how could we not do anything but trust the science here? We just got to trust science. We'll never know, okay? Because I guess they're not going to show us call logs, not going to do anything, just easily put away any of these quote unquote conspiracies that are unhealthy. And I wanted to show you this comment. It was actually under his show yesterday. Well, actually, it might have been the day before that, regarding Charlie's unique instructions to his friends, right? This is a comment. Charlie's instructions are actually insane. Number one, leave me with no help or first aid.